hello, shallow friends, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, and certainly mine, The Shallow End. So, some of you are probably thinking, all right, there's a new voice, and it's not my conscience, thank God, because that guy sucks, but it's also not Jessica or Kevin or Rebecca or Scott, so respectfully, or not, who the hell are you? Well, I'm producer Chase. It's good to finally meet you. And episode 6 marks the first episode that I've actually produced in any capacity for The Shallow End. So I'm excited about it. I hope you're excited about it. You should be. I listened to it already. It's really good. Ha! Producer perks. Anyway, quick backstory before we get into this. We originally lost all the files for this episode. So, as we do for you on The Shallow End, because we love you, we jumped headfirst into the black hole that is the internet, fought a bear, fought two bears, had a bottle of wine, did a couple of illegal UEs, maybe not in that order, but all that to say, we have the files, and they're here, and they're polished, and they're ready for you. So, without further ado or whatever, sit back, relax, maybe pour yourself a glass of wine, and enjoy episode 6 of The Shallow End.
Just take cues off of how you're talking. Oh,
Here we go. No cues. Here we are.
It's just
I don't even
begun.
know what we're doing.
I don't know what we're doing either. I thought that maybe I would follow
Okay, we're
your
going to do
lead, but
this.
seems
Here's what we're going to do. Ready?
Yes.
We're learning. We're absolute amateurs at all of this. Okay, so we think we're starting. Restarting. We think we're starting episode 6 of The Shallow End.
Full disclosure, we've already recorded 6.5 minutes.
Maybe everybody will get that.
Maybe
I have no
you
idea.
guys will hear that, and maybe you won't. There's
We won't repeat
some
it.
hidden lore.
It's really actually kind of depressing. So it's
not
best
a good
we move
6.5
on.
minutes.
Perhaps our dear podcast friends Zencaster have decided that it was not worthy of our shallow friends. And they were just like, nope.
They decided to save the world from it rather than let us.
Which is fine.
I get it. Yeah. Respect.
Sometimes we need correction. And
sometimes we need somebody else to edit what we say because we're not very good at it.
It would be great if we had a producer. Oh!
Is that a call out for me or for Chase?
I mean,
if the
yes.
Shoe fits.
Yeah.
Well,
but here we are.
We're
2 minutes into being really awkward about how it was really awkward. So,
it's not awkward until you call it out for being awkward. So.
Yeah, but that's okay. I think one of our things over the course of all of history is going to be being awkward.
All of history. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All of podcast history.
Oh, duh. Don't want to, make our heads too big, We have to stay humble and grounded. Remember where we came from.
We know that one of the potential guests that will never be on the pod is your mother. She would definitely reinforce the idea of awkwardness throughout all of history. It's just unnecessary. Let's just move on.
That's very true.
Okay.
Dad.
So, yeah. I have to call out Polly again.
Again,
even
yeah.
though
We
I just did it 5 minutes ago. We love our bestie Polly, who sponsors the podcast every time we do this. This time with a lovely wine from South Africa. I'm not going to say the inappropriate joke I said.
He said something
the-
racist last time. So
I did. It wasn't
We'll
racist.
pretend
It was
it.
just inappropropriate.
okay.
Yeah. If you call it out like that, I might as well have said it. That's dumb.
You
Okay,
did say
anyway.
Oh,
But
okay.
you said
Okay,
I
okay.
said.
Dad, we'll move on. Tell us more about this beautiful juice of the grape that Polly has given to you.
So much for second chances. This is a lovely. Oh gosh.
Oh, what?
Drinking during pregnancy can be harmful to your unborn baby.
Are you pregnant?
Thank you, South Africa, for letting me know that.
Well, every bottle of liquor or alcohol has that. Did you know that?
I'm gonna go ahead and just
Say
claim
yes.
South Africa.
Oh, okay.
This is called
Do you
Field
wanna-
Atlas 2018
Oh.
from Noble Hill. It's delicious. It's lovely. I really appreciate Polly for passing this along. What are you drinking there, Rebecca?
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you my story about this wine because my father texted me today and said, don't forget to bring your Josh. Because last time we recorded from separate cities, I almost forgot to have wine, which is like half of our whole draw.
Yeah, didn't you like go to Walgreens
Yeah.
and get a bottle?
Well, I live near a Rite Aid, so
Rite Aid, sorry.
so I went to Rite Aid and hang on,
the whole Walgreens sponsorship, didn't I?
because I did that again today. I was on my way back from studying, and I was like almost home, and I was like, "Fuck."
Virtue signaling, aren't we? Mm.
Yes, I am. Well, sorry. Let me correct myself. I was on my way back from my meeting with the guy that runs the lab that I work in.
Here we go.
So, but I was almost home and I was exhausted, and I was like, "Fuck! I forgot to get wine for tonight." So I stopped because the Rite Aid's like on the street that I live on. So I went into the Rite Aid and I stood in front of the wines, and I was like, "Okay,
Need a wine
really
for
not-
the pod.
I'm really not asking for much here. I just want one bottle that's not from California. Please."
No, they don't have it at Rite Aid.
They
Well,
do.
maybe
They have-
Argentina.
They had one bottle from Argentina,
I'm so
it's-
smart.
and it's Dave Matthews' brand.
Dreaming Tree. Yeah. It's
Yes.
good. It's actually not
It's
bad.
Really not bad at all. So,
No, it's not
and
bad.
the tree reminds me of The Giving Tree
Yes.
by Shel Silverstein.
It's
So,
lovely.
It is lovely.
Good
So
job.
that's what I'm drinking tonight. Thank you. And also, okay, wait, there's more to the story because
But
I went to
I'm
check
already
out.
proud. You can stop now.
No, this isn't. I went to check out.
I know it's not about me. I know it's not about
Or me. I went to check out, and this poor cashier was so flustered. She was clearly very stressed that the line was 3 people long. Like, that was too many people. So I get up to to cash out, and I gave her my bottle of wine, and she brought out this cute little paper bag to put it in because it's classy at Rite Aid. And
No,
the bottle
because you're
of
a
wine,
wino is what she meant. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And it broke through the bottom and shattered all over the ground.
Oh, shit.
So I had to go back and get another one. And she just
Damn.
also, I looked back as I was leaving, and she just kept ringing people up with like glass
The
and wine all
Full
around her feet.
splash?
Yup. She just kept going. I was like, okay. I hope you
Okay.
have a better
She's your
evening.
she's your favorite now. That's a badass.
I don't know. I was worried about her.
No, that's someone who's just like,
Okay.
not my problem.
Well, she
Just gonna
seemed
keep
very
on.
nervous and anxious.
Yeah,
that
whatever.
She dropped. Whatever. So I made it
I'm
out of
happy
there with my
With
Dave
your
Matthews
second
wine.
bottle of Dave Matthews wine.
Yes, the floor at Rite Aid is now lapping up the other bottle.
Lovely. Well,
Yeah.
because this isn't, it's not officially a wine podcast.
No, not yet. Wink.
Good story, by the way.
Thank
that
you.
took a lot longer than the dying cat story that we lost at the beginning.
Well, I was going to say, we've officially made it past 6.5 minutes, so I'm feeling good.
So,
And we
and I
replaced
think
the
it's
dying cat story.
I think it's probably better content as well. So let's just
I would
move
agree.
on.
Yeah,
So thanks,
we'll keep cruising.
Paulie,
And Rite Aid.
for all and for I don't want to thank Rite Aid for wine. I just don't. But
Actually, I take
thanks,
it back.
Dave
Sorry,
Matthews.
Dave
for
Matthews.
not.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave Matthews, for not shitting on us tonight.
Oh my God. Are you bringing up the
what?
Chicago story? Not
Maybe,
but it
I
happened
don't
in Chicago,
know.
right?
It did,
We'll move on.
and we were
We'll
just
move on.
there. Anyone who's interested in really learning about wine should check out Under the Vinfluence.
Oh my gosh.
Wherever all of your favorite podcasts are sold, that's where Under the Vinfluence will be available.
They have one episode so far.
Shut up.
Check it out. I'm saying check it out. I'm being supportive.
No, you're not. You're kind of being
I'm jealous.
judgy.
You're right. I'm jealous.
You're so jealous. No, I said judgy, not jealous.
Well, both.
But also, I just want to again thank all of the shallow friends that have given us support, feedback, these amazing notes. We considering how meaningless this podcast really is.
Hey,
we get an amazing amount of really cool feedback. We really do.
We do.
And it's fun. It's cool. I I think before we started the first time, not the second time.
Okay.
I told you that I talked to one person who said, "Oh, I caught up on all 5 episodes." And his biggest point of feedback was it was really cool that you guys figured out the audio issue. And
that's
I'm like,
funny. When you say figured out,
like now you can hear us. I don't know. We haven't figured shit out. We're on the second try of this.
Actually, and also before we started the first try, we workshopped for about 30 minutes trying to get each other to hear each other without an echo. No. But we were supposed to start at 9. It's 10:15.
I know. But I appreciate and here I am like leaning over and there's like bright lights behind me. But
yeah, I turned off my bright light behind me.
Is that better?
No, that's so much worse.
I appreciate the fact that somebody invested that much time into listening to us talk. Because that's really what this is about.
Flattering. Yeah. I got feedback today about our last episode from somebody that I didn't even know was listening. But like when I found out that they were, I was like so flattered, like honored that they decided.
Spill the tea. Who was it?
Well, it's one of Chase's friends, Nick.
Okay.
But we're like
could he
almost the same
be a
person.
Producer?
He could be a guest. Could he
be a producer too?
Dude,
come on.
He could be a guest. He is smart. Like, okay, I always make a joke.
Like that's
Chase.
A requirement?
Yes.
Being smart is
clearly.
a requirement?
I always joke with Chase that he basically
now I have
found...
I have to scratch Matt Baxter off the list.
Well, okay, 2 out of 3 is good enough, I guess. I make a joke with Chase always that he basically found the female version of Nick to start dating, and that's what I am. Like, like he and Nick are really good friends, and he just like found the female version of it. So anyway,
does that mean you're gonna date Nick? No, you can't. That's not right.
No. I'm saying Nick and I are pretty much the same person. And Chase was so... He hates it too. He hates when I say it also. Don't worry.
Hey, it's time to reload. I don't like any of the way that ended.
Okay, well...
Sorry to have stepped over you on the Matt Baxter thing.
I'll just cry about it later.
Yeah. Another thing we're trying to work on, right? Is the idea of not stepping over each other.
Yeah.
I suck.
The problem is, well, we both kind of do, because when we talk, I'm half a quarter Italian, and you were raised by an Italian man, And Italians love to talk over each other in conversation. It's kind of part of how it goes. So when we're recording it, though, yeah, precisely. But when we're recording, it's not fun to listen to when we're just talking over each other and you can't really hear what either of us are saying. So we're working on it, is what we're saying.
We're working on it. We are all works in progress. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, we should probably actually talk about the thing that we're going to talk about now.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we're last time it was 6 minutes in and we flushed that down the toilet. We're now about 14 minutes in. We should probably say something.
Yeah, let's start going.
You want to introduce the topic?
I get to do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool.
Because I know you hate it when I give all of my background on the topic. You don't like that.
Do you have background for this one? Did you research books?
I guess not.
Well, actually, we joked that I actually finally prepared for an episode.
There you go.
This is the first one that I did pre-planning for. And you
might as well start. No?
So, okay. Oh,
I
sorry,
got a whole sheet.
My bad. Yeah, today we're doing the first, we hope, of many Shallow End Book Club episodes, which will not actually be like a book club, but it will be a club where we talk about books. So,
but only when we want to, and we don't really care what anyone else thinks. And
you can all suck it also.
And we're not reading together. Fuck that.
Yeah.
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 So you prepared a bunch of stuff.
Not a bunch.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you prepare to talk about specific books that you truly love and are?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
Because you're trying to sell books?
No. Because I love books. I'm a big reader. Mm-hmm. I actually just finished a book today. And I'm still thinking about
Flex?
Yeah, big flex right there. I was reading it on the bus and I was so self-conscious because I didn't want people to think. Yeah, but I didn't want people to be like,
transit.
Fuck that girl reading a book on a bus. Who's she trying to be? But I was genuinely did just want to read my book. Anyway, what was I saying?
Yeah, I don't know. You were finishing a book today.
It's gone.
What else?
I'm a big reader. And I have been my whole life. And so obviously there are certain books that I feel like had a big impact on who I am now because I read them at such critical growth points.
Okay.
You know?
So
those are the ones that I compiled.
Okay. And these are all probably, I hope, mostly predictable to me. I could probably... Okay.
You could name them, I bet, because, yeah.
But I would love to talk first up here about the types of books you like.
Ah.
The style, the things that you enjoy about literature that speak to you and are the things that stay true where you can the things that wind up making it so that you can read a book 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
And it's always good. Yeah. And you hope they make the movie about it. And so, and then we'll get into the specific ones that we both have.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What is the type of book, the type of story that resonates with you?
Okay. Well, number one, I'm a fantasy girl. I think every single one of my books that I put on my list of books that impacted me are all fantasy. And they're all written by women, which isn't a requirement, but it is a big signifier of something that I'll like more.
Right.
I struggle a lot with the way that men write women because it just doesn't feel correct to me whenever I read a book where a man tries to write a woman. Does
that mean that, do you care whether the primary focus of the story is a male versus female character,
I don't
or is it more the style
care.
of the writer, like
It's
the
okay.
voice
It's
that you start with?
kind of both. I don't really care if it's a male versus a female main character. What I do care about and notice, which I don't think
Mm-hmm.
most men that I know notice, is when every character of significance is a man and every female character introduced is a
Yeah.
tool to help, the character development of the male.
Yeah.
Or
plot
like
device or whatever. Yeah.
none of the women are fleshed out humans, and I do notice that, and that bothers me. I can't read books like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly happy reading a main character that's a male. Like one of the books that I almost put on my list that I didn't is, male main character.
No, don't. Okay,
I didn't say the name, but I just said
Okay,
that the main character
cool.
was male.
We gotta tease a little bit.
But I think for me, like when you said something that you can reread over and over, that's important because there have been other books that I've really, really enjoyed, but haven't made it onto my list of books that I think, like, if somebody said to me, choose 3 books that represent you the most, they wouldn't
Right.
make it onto my list because I find I really resonate with books that aren't fully focused on the actual like plot so much as they're character driven. I really like character driven books.
Yeah, cool.
So those are I'm way more likely to reread a book where mostly I just get to hang out with these characters again, because I love them.
Interesting. Okay. And yet, I would argue that a lot of the books that I know you like they're pretty freaking intense books.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
It's not. There's definitely very strong characters and character development, but
yeah,
I mean, character development means they go through some shit, right? So
yeah, like the one I finished today, they fight an entire war in the course of the book. So it's not like nothing's happening. Like things are happening.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. So
what about
by
you
books,
though? I want
by
to know.
books she means she watches Marvel movies.
Oh, don't say that about me. That actually hurts my feelings. Why would you say that to me?
I'm sorry. So style, I think stylistically, I think if we were to match each other by about the age, I was a fantasy person in my earlier age. I'm more of a blended kind of, as I had children, I get more young adult kind of fiction, which is a lot of fantasy, some of it is, I mean, John Green, Fault in My Stars, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, I liked reading it because it was interesting to see what stuff was being thrown in the face of kids who were actually reading in the moment. And I don't mind it. I think it's actually a great story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to reread it.
Yeah.
Because, it's just not fun.
Because it's sad.
It's sad. Like, I don't want to read sad shit. Like, I don't want to watch. This is just who I am. I don't want to watch sad shit on TV either. But, but that fantasy science fiction, I'm more of a I grew up more of a science fiction person. My dad was a science fiction person from back in the day, and so I have more of that influence in me in terms of the things that I like to read, and I like the idea that science fiction and fantasy gives us exposure to stories that don't have a limit of our current existence, but then also a lot of them are very aspirational. So when you think of the fantasy settings that stories are written in, or the science fiction settings that stories are written in, that's what attracted me to them. It's like these are the most optimistic kind of settings, and then they put drama on top of it.
Interesting.
Okay. That said, The ones, now this is why I say this, the ones that I come back to don't necessarily fit that.
Don't fit into that. Okay, I think I can predict probably one of the books, or maybe
Of course you
two.
can. Oh, two. Okay, I'm going to give
Maybe
you
two.
mega
I'm
credit if
confident-
you can pick two.
Oh, okay, that makes me way less confident. But I'm confident in the one that
Mhm.
I'm almost
Bring
sure
it.
is on your list.
Bring
You want
it.
me to say it now?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
We've given our... Oh,
I'm almost 100% confident that Lamb is on your list.
it was not on my list.
It was not on your list.
It
Okay,
was not.
the other one.
I'm happy to
that
talk about it.
The other one I was going to guess is Ender's Game.
Of course. Yes.
Okay,
that one
of
is
course.
100% on my list.
Okay.
But I will talk about both of those to whatever extent you would like to talk about them.
Actually, your copy of Lamb is in my bookcase right now. I haven't
Give
returned
it back.
I'm so sorry. I just
It's
glanced
basically
over
the
its
time
sides.
that I'm supposed to be rereading Lamb right
Yeah,
now.
it's Lent right now. It's about to be
Holy
Easter.
Week.
Oh boy. Well,
Should we talk
I
about
actually
Lamb?
Never finished. Sure.
You never
'cause
finished?
I'm halfway through. I put it down and I never picked it back up. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I might pick it back up.
Can I
It's in
talk
my
about it?
bookshelf. Yes, you can talk about it.
You've heard me talk about it so
Yeah,
many
but,
times, and
the
it's
20
not
people
sunk in.
The 20 people that might listen to it haven't heard you say this.
So Lamb is a novel. Let's be clear. It's a novel. It's a fictional story written
Yeah.
by Christopher Moore. Its subtitle is the Gospel of Jesus Christ as told by his childhood friend Biff.
It's
And-
actually the gospel according to Biff, Christ's childhood pal.
I'm sorry I fucked that up, but
No, you were very
close. I kind of biffed it.
You but
The story is, Christopher Moore is a brilliant. He's a brilliant author with a bunch of really cool modern fiction, fantasy / weird stuff. That's what he writes.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I think, is his magnus opum, whatever they call that. Magnum opus, whatever. Yeah. Magnus opum.
You were close.
Is that
Magnus
same thing?
opium.
No, not really. Whatever.
Close.
It's same letters, different words. He's basically writing a gospel. He's writing a story of Christ in a way that is just wildly inappropriate.
So horrible.
But as a believer, not actually making me feel bad about it. He's humanizing Jesus. He's proposing a thing that could have happened. And I have said multiple times to multiple people when I recommend this book, the story at the end of the Passion, the Holy Week, what we're when we're recording right now, we're Wednesday to it's Holy Week.
Yeah.
The story at the end of this book makes me cry every time I read it. And I read it.
Damn.
I think I've read it 5 times. And it doesn't matter how many times I read it. It's entertaining for a long time, and then it makes me cry because it's so human. And it's not because I think it's trying to convert anybody or there's no sudden change in the tone of the book. He's just so good at saying, I'm not a believer, but if I was going to write a story about this guy, this is how I would do it, and this is how it would end, and it just hits. It's really good. I love the book. It's his most popular book. I highly recommend it.
Damn.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
I might need to read it, finish it now. I mean, this is the perfect week to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't yet, so I don't know why you
haven't
would
yet.
suddenly do it.
Well,
Like,
okay.
if
Actually,
we're gonna
this
bring, if we're gonna bring
what?
the the book club on the road, you're gonna have to fucking read that book.
I know. Well, okay. This I've tried to read it a couple of times, but this read through is the furthest I've gotten because I'm about halfway through, and I've never gotten that far. So
So you don't like it?
I am hopeful. No, I like it, but I do get to my limit with like the tone.
Okay.
You know,
Yep,
like
yep.
those kinds of jokes, I can kind of hit.
It's
my
a very
wall with.
masculine tone. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
and
is. Yeah, no.
I mean, it
no
does
question.
make me laugh. But then I've finished like 2 chapters, and I'm like, all right, that's enough of that for today.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I get that.
as
That's
compared to like other books where I can just rip through them and not put them down. You know, so it's not a
Okay.
bad book. It's just slow going.
Oh,
No, not okay.
Please.
Whatever.
say something about your books now. No.
Okay.
Please.
Well, okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
And
just
then-
one. Just start.
And then a series. So,
I have,
but the
I have a bunch too. Here,
well,
are we
I'm
gonna,
just saying.
Like, show me yours, I'll show you mine. Oh gosh,
Oh,
that's a bad
okay.
thing to say. You're my daughter.
To your daughter.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, well, one of them on my list is the one that I finished today. And it's by the same author that wrote 3 of the other books on my list. There.
So this was predictable from my side, right?
Yeah, you knew. Because I have tattoos for 2 of the books. 2 of the 4 books I have tattoos for. So clearly they're meaningful.
I do not have a lamb tattoo.
Oh, not yet. One day.
No, that's true. Not yet. Who knows?
Not yet. You still have a lot of life to live. But the book that it's over there. I'm not going to get it. But the book that I finished today is called Fire, and it's by the author Kristen Kishore. And I've obviously read it a billion times before. Actually, not today, yesterday, I noticed the inscription, the inside inscription, because the book was a gift, and it was from one of our shallow friends. On my 13th birthday, my grandma and grandpa, our listeners from North Carolina, gifted it to me on my 13th birthday. And it's made my list. Like, I've read it so many times. I genuinely don't know how many times I read this book. I love it so much. But I wrote reasons why it means so much to me. And I realized as I was typing out my thoughts that when I first read the series of books by this author, this book was actually, of the 3, the least impactful to me when I first read it. But now rereading it as a 24-year-old with all of this weird life experience that I have, I was like crying at this book. Like, I felt like it hit me so much harder.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
let's talk
which
about
is
that.
cool.
Like, but back it up. So, like, is it what? So Kristen Kishore, what's the series is what?
It's called the Graceling series because the first
so
book
it's
is called Graceling.
And then
Fire,
and then
Bitter Blue. But
Bitter
the
Blue,
thing
right.
is, it's not like a series like you're following the same character on a journey across the 3 books. It's each book has a different main character. They're from the same world, but their lives are almost completely separate. Like, they overlap a couple of times, they reference each other, but the stories themselves are different paths. So it's very interesting because you're in the same world. You know the context of the world and the mechanisms and how it works, but you're following these different storylines from 3 very different main characters. So it's very interesting.
I have to ask.
Okay.
Are these the stories about cats? Is this the cat thing?
You got me. It's Warrior Cats. Yeah.
Oh, it's
No,
not Warrior
it's not
Cats? Oh,
it's not Warrior
cool.
Cats.
Yes.
Now you're in.
Okay.
You're tapped back in.
I'm back in. I was afraid it was
Yeah.
warrior cats. I didn't even have the
You know-
name warrior cats, but I
just knew it was
I was
cats.
worried. I was worried cat. Worried father cat.
We're worried paw. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So no, we're not talking about that. We're
But
talking
we
about
can
real
if
books.
you want.
No,
Oh!
thank you. No, thank
Okay.
you.
I won't get into it, but I have a lot of thoughts about that.
I know you
Okay.
do. It's like you predict people's personalities based on their warrior cat clan shit like that.
It's like a Harry Potter house quiz.
Mind-bogglingly stupid, and
No,
I
it's so
don't want
good.
to talk about that.
Shut
we
up.
can do that when we can do warrior cats and Harry Potter houses and
House quiz.
and we can do that and astrology in general all in one podcast that is not happening right now.
Well, I was going to say, I think it would be fun for there to be an episode where I make you take personality quizzes. And we talk about your answers and your results because I know how much you love personality quizzes.
Don't put me in a box.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I'm going to talk about fire some more because, excuse me.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure because this morning.
Okay, will it be interesting now?
Okay. Damn.
Sorry.
Fucking rude. Okay. But this morning I was reading this book and I was at like one of the most dramatic points. And I was just sitting on my couch. It was like 8 a.m. I was sitting on my couch. I had 30 minutes before I had to start getting ready to leave. And I was just sobbing to this fucking book. And I was like, how am I supposed to go like do things now? I'm so emotionally involved in this book. And I had to go before I had like 20 pages left. And I had to leave. And it was horrible.
What? You had to leave 20 pages left?
Yes, I had to go.
You're sobbing and you had to leave 20 pages?
I had to pull myself together and finish my Celsius and go.
Okay, but also how many other times have you read that book?
A lot.
Yeah,
but not so much recently. I haven't read that book.
But it still gets you.
It still gets me. And actually, like I said, all of a sudden this book, oh, a kitty? Do we have a visitor? No. Okay. This was the first time that I read this book that I cried at it. Like, it's changed.
Oh, it was the first, really?
Yes.
Oh, so you changed and your experience of the book changed.
Apparently, because before, with the first book and the last book, the main characters are much more, like the first book, the main character's like this badass fighting warrior. Like, she's very blunt and like tough and badass. And when I was in high school, like, I was like, she's me. I'm a fighter. I'm blunt and I feel like I don't fit in. And I'm just like her. She's just like me. Which, okay, whatever gets you through the day, girl. But now, the main character of Fire is like, she's struggling throughout the whole book about the way that she's perceived on the outside and this pedestal that people put her on versus how scared and sad she is on the inside. And she has this overwhelming feeling throughout the whole book about like, nobody can ever know who I really am and still love me because they have this perception of who I am when they first meet me, that if they knew that I'm not really like that, they're not going to love me anymore. And also, like, throughout the whole book, she's in a ton of physical pain, like almost always, because she just keeps getting injured. I don't know. But the way that the author writes about pain, I relate to a lot.
This is really fascinating because it's showing that people can write stories that you appreciate in one setting, and then as you grow and evolve, you also appreciate it again
In completely different ways from how you did it originally.
Yeah. Like the idea that it can be a totally different expression of your own experience.
Yeah.
that means it's probably a pretty fucking good story.
It's so good. Yeah. I think everybody, at least I recommend it to almost every like woman that I meet who is
Yeah.
a reader. I'm like, you have to read these books because like I feel like everybody I've recommended them to is like, oh, they're so good.
So how many
everybody
books
should
in that
read them.
series? Three
Well,
books in that series? But,
I mean, there were 3 for a while. Now the author has released 2.
Blue.
The author has released 2 more, but very recently. And I've only read 1 of the new 2. I would say stick to the main 3, the original 3.
And
those are
you
solid.
And you have how many tattoos?
Well, you mean total?
Around this? No, not total. Around
like, I don't know.
this series.
This series, I only have 1, but the author wrote a standalone book, and I have a tattoo for that one also.
We're gonna give that. It's a 2 tattoo series. Definitely worth reading. As we move forward, I think that the book club is going to have some kind of a rating system, and these would be
5 pools out of 5.
I think it would be a 2 tattoo out of
2
1.
tattoos out of 2. Oh, out of 1. What?
Out of 1. Like, it's that good. It's like
it's 200% good.
Yeah. Would you get a tattoo about this book?
And I got
2. Twice.
Yes, twice. Yeah.
Have I ever gotten a tattoo about a book?
No. But you also haven't gotten any tattoos at all, so.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you're
cool. That's how cool those books are. That's how great.
Yeah, that's how cool those books are. Yeah, and my biggest tattoo actually is from one of the books. So,
and it's fucking badass tattoo.
It's pretty.
Are you gonna show off your tattoos? There you go. Look at this thing. Look at that.
Huge.
It's so
for viewers
awesome
of the podcast. Yeah, this one is my biggest. But then the other one is this key. That's the other book tattoo.
The key is pretty
way
cool.
Smaller. Yeah, the key is pretty cool. But yeah, this is my book arm, I guess.
We should probably just have a completely separate episode about tattoos.
Just about tattoos, and I can just talk about my tattoos for an hour.
And then we'll get no, I'm just saying that we will everybody
get
the whole family.
Tattoos. Oh.
We'll get the whole family involved. And then we'll get Mom on, and then that's when we'll decide on
what tattoo you guys will get. Ooh, little teaser.
We don't have
Drop that there. Not yet.
Ding.
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay. So I gushed about 1.
And I love it, and I think it's really important. It is iconic for. I think that
me
that
as a
was
person,
a very
I feel
for you as a person, and also your age. That was a pretty popular series, right? Like this is a pretty
Graceling.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were reading it.
I disagree.
No?
I've met almost nobody that has read it.
Oh,
like
really?
the fan base is very, very small.
That sucks.
Yeah. I know it does. That's why I tell everybody about it because everybody should read it. Yeah.
So your mother read it. I read it.
Maggie's read it.
Pretty.
My sister.
Fantastic stuff.
I made Chase read the first book.
It's well written. It's really good story.
Yeah, and it clips. You know.
No, it's easy. Yeah, right.
It never drags. It never feels like it's dragging. They all strike a really good balance between like relationships between characters moving forward, as well as the actual plot that they're working towards also developing. So you never feel like you're, lacking one or the other. It's a good tempo. It's a good pace.
And to your previous point, like the whole idea of women. Like women authors have a different voice, and it's this opportunity to present things in an authentic way that doesn't always get amplified out there, and that series is one where it doesn't feel like it's as a male reader, it doesn't feel like it's like just pounding me. It's just a freaking great story.
Yeah, that's
So
what I like.
it's
I can't.
like
Yeah. Like, I had somebody ask me once, I don't remember who it was. It might have been one of my brothers, but I don't fully recall. But I recommended a book. I don't remember what it was, but it was by a female author. And I remember recommending it to this person. And it was a man. And he said, okay, but is it like for girls? And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And he was like, like a book for girls. Because, like, is it for girls? And I was like,
is it like Taylor
no,
Swift?
like, what are you talking about? It's a book. I don't know. It's a fantasy book.
Yeah. You should probably read it because I like it and
I
I'm
was
smart
annoyed.
and fuck
I was
you.
like, well, I mean, I get, sure, it's for everybody. I don't know. Like, it doesn't say on the cover for girls only. Boys stink and are not allowed.
Gosh, now I have to cross off everything on my list. I can't talk about
Boys.
any. Well, we did. You called out the other one that you knew that was going to be on my list.
Oh,
And
Ender's Game.
I have two that I want to talk about. I want to make sure we talk about two different books, but one is the one you called out, Ender's Game, because
Ender's Game, yeah.
you definitely have read it. I have read it from the time I was a wee little boy. And now it's a movie. It is a movie 5-6 years, whatever years ago.
Yeah,
we were so excited about the idea that it was going to be a movie for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of an iconic story. It's definitely a male voice, if you want to go from that perspective.
I suppose so,
but it's a child voice,
and it's not so. Like, again, the way that you were saying, like, it's a female writer, but I don't feel as a man reading it that I'm, like, crushed by it. Let the baby in.
It's Blair.
Is that Blair? I could hear her little meow. So cute. Yeah. But in the same way that you don't feel that way with my books, like Ender's Game, I'm not reading it being like, fucking men, like I'm just reading it, I'm just in it.
Right. Yeah.
I think because the women characters are just characters. Like, they're not.
They're just as badass as the male. There's no difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what I was saying. Is like, they're just kids. They're just kids.
Yes. Yeah.
They're kids, and it's a crazy setup of, like, how do kids rise above to become, like, heroes. It's the same style of literature that has existed in American literature, at least for a while. It's gone dystopian before that, but, like, this is Orson Scott Card, who is a fantasy and sci-fi writer. Ender's Game is his most popular book.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of what he writes is worth reading. My understanding is that the actual Ender's Game book is used in, like, warfare training.
Really?
I
did not know that.
It's the kind of thing that helps instruct people on what it is to be built up as a warrior.
I don't know how I feel about it being used.
I was going to say, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. If you watch the movie, it's not comfortable. The ending of the book is not comfortable.
I was going to say, you watch the movie, and the movie's pretty damn intense, but if you read the book, it's way more in-depth and
harsh.
Emotionally charged. It's hard to read, honestly.
Yeah, it's like...
But I think people, if you haven't read it, read it. It's not a very long book. It's very approachable language. Like, it's not all high and mighty language.
It's a young adult fiction book.
But I feel
it's meant for 13-year-olds.
It's meant... Yikes.
It is. I mean, that's how it was written.
Really? It's pretty intense.
It's a YA fiction. That's what it was.
That's crazy. Well, I think everybody should read it, especially in the current political and global climate.
It It'll be a little prescient.
Yeah, you might relate to it a little too much. But
And
I
if you
think
go
it's
to the second and the third books in the
Even
series,
worse.
it gets even worse.
Yeah, even worse. But okay, interestingly, I was
Sorry, I'm
talking
chasing a
to.
cat.
That's okay. She deserves it. She's beautiful and little.
Hey, baby.
And she has little ears. Oh. That made a terrible noise. Oh my gosh.
She was
Beth.
just sliding along the path.
Okay, she loves this.
Hey, baby.
She's so cute. Well, I was talking to Maggie today, our so far only guest, and my little sister. She was saying, I asked her, I was like, we're recording the podcast tonight. We're talking about books, and I would like to know what books you think were like staples in the Brew household. And the first thing she said was Ender's Game, because she said it was like a rite of passage as a Brew child to get the approval from the parents to read it and then join the club of everybody that read it and is obsessed with it. Like now, has Patrick read it?
I don't know.
Well, he's old enough, so he could.
For sure. I think that once the movie came out, the movie became like this emotional purging of that whole experience of the book. Like,
what do you mean emotional purging?
It was another.
What does that mean?
This is another completely different topic. It's not a book club topic, right? But it's when they take one of your iconic stories and they put it on a screen. Does it make you happy or does it make you sad?
Or angry.
Or angry, right? And for me, and I think for your mother, we watched that movie and we were like, they did it right. It wasn't the full book, but that movie, they did it right. They actually captured what that whole experience was, which is it's like a
the
little
soul of it.
Yeah,
the soul of the book is
it's dystopian, but then it's aspirational, and then in the end, the kids are the future, but then the kids are abused. Like it's so good, and in the end, everyone's broken. Like everyone's broken. We suck.
I think it does a good job of striking this balance.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Of like I haven't encountered a lot of media that can both be extremely realistic and honest about the state of whatever story they're telling, as well as being hopeful. I feel like things either go one way or the other, where like, yeah, you're being hopeful about it, but I'm not able to be hopeful because I can see that this isn't a realistic situation that you've set up.
Right.
Like would never happen in real life. But
which is okay if you're just. It's okay if you're just consuming media, like if you're reading a book for escapism.
You don't want to always feel like shit all the time. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Like I want to read Jimmy Buffett stories too, but
rest in peace, fly high. Love you, Jimmy.
All right, so I had one other one that I wanted to talk about. You have another one that you want to talk about?
Me first. Okay.
Well, we're 52 minutes in, so I think we have.
Okay, you talk about your other one because I want to talk about book or movie adaptations because I have one that I really want to talk about.
Oh shit! But because you want to talk about a book and then the movie adaptation. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you. I don't know that you
tell me
read
about
this
your other
one.
book. Okay, what is it?
Did you ever read The Sparrow?
No. Is this the one about aliens?
Is it? I don't know.
Okay, then no, I haven't read it.
Probably.
This is the one that
aliens.
The Reese's love, right?
Probably more about us than it is about aliens.
Oh, wow. Deep.
It's such a beautifully written story. And it's like sci-fi. I would classify it as a First Contact style story. But it's one of these things where it's like very practically written around the idea that when first contact happens, the only entity that is able to act quickly and efficiently is not governments. They're all like in a tizzy. It's the Jesuits. It's a religious order, and they have the resources, and
they be
go
prepping.
They're like, we're all about learning about shit, so let's go. And they send a mission off, and it's such a beautiful story. It's not fun at all,
Right. Okay.
but it's one of, I think it's one of these stories that I don't even know when it was written, but I think it's one of these stories that's going to stand the test of time around our human ability to accept others. And because what it turns into is how fucked up we are, and how when we even have the best of intentions, we still fuck everything up. So it's a fantastic story. There's 2 books in the like that I've read. Maybe there are more, I don't know, but the main one is The Sparrow. I think this was written in the 80s. 1980s.
It's 1996 was the original publication.
Okay, 1990s.
Yeah, 1990. So this is by Mary Doria Russell.
Woman, yeah, she's it's so beautifully written too, and
it won 4 different awards.
It's so sensitively written, like it feels real when you're reading this. It feels like this is. We look at the idea of aliens coming down and saying, "Hey, here we are. We're gonna fuck around with you." This is much more of a realistic way that, like, if we learn that there's other intelligence in the universe, that's the way it's going to happen.
Yeah. And okay. Interesting.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Damn, you're selling me on it. I feel like I need to read it now.
Do it. Read it. It's incredible. Carolyn sold me on it, and I read it, and I'm like, I've read it 3 times now.
Damn,
because it's that good. All right.
See, it's
so now yours.
Well, I'm making a comment on the books that you've mentioned as ones that are important to you, because it's interesting. The theme that they all have is like, well, at least Ender's Game and The Sparrow seem very similar, but then also it's like in a Venn diagram. Ender's Game and The Sparrow would have one, and then The Sparrow and Lamb would have one. I don't really see a connection between these 2, but you know, like contact with something other than ourselves, the philosophical and moral implications of the way that we behave to other intelligent species that aren't humans, and then also the responsibility that we have to humanity. I feel like all 3 of those have similar energies.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. But can I sum it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't be a dick. And what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does
dickishness mean?
What does don't be a dick really mean? In certain circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, look at Ender's Game. And not to spoil the plot, but the whole moral quandary around that whole system of the whole plot line is, how are you the best person? How are you the right person? How are you the good in that moment?
Yeah. And also with that book, it's the struggle between doing what you need to do, like following through on the responsibility that you've been given. Maybe you need to go against what you wish you could be doing as the morally good person. Like sometimes, not to get all, Nietzsche on you, but sometimes the ends do justify the means. And I stand by that.
Well, and which is very much a theme in Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Right? So what does "don't be a dick" really look like? That's
it changes based on the situation you find yourself in, I think.
Mm-hmm. So,
well,
these, like my stories, my books that I am passionate about are really are dealing with that kind of issue. Lamb, Ender's Game, like the Sparrow. These are big existential kind of discussions around what are we supposed to be as human beings, and what does it mean to be a dick to somebody versus being right and being kind, and that's what all of these books are about.
Yeah. Huh.
And redemption in the end. There's this element of redemption in each one of them that it also feeds me. Like, fuck yeah, I need redemption. Like, I want to figure it all out, and in the end, get like, I want the Hollywood ending. Like, I want to walk out with a bucket of popcorn and go, that was a really good film. But
you want to do The Breakfast Club?
Yeah, no, actually, that's not a good ending. It's kind of we're all shitty. Yay!
It's a good ending. It's
a terrible ending.
No, it's a human moment ending. It's a human moment ending.
It's a dark
everybody's
ending.
Still shitty at the end of the day. They didn't solve any huge problems because they're high schoolers, but they saw the human in each person that before they had this experience, they didn't see. And it was it's not trying. Okay, this is not what this episode is about.
Now we're doing the film episode.
We're not going to rant about The Breakfast Club, but
we could, though.
Let me talk my shit about this movie.
You were about to talk about, I was going to say the film to movie thing.
I need to talk about it. This is, I'm sure I believe that the movie's better than the book in other cases as well. I just haven't put much thought into it. But this movie, Little Women, by Greta Gerwig, directed by Greta Gerwig. Don't do that. Why would you do that to me? I thought you loved me. Okay, you're being sexist.
I gotta do manly things now. You're talking about Little Women?
Lord.
Oh, okay, shit. I just broke something. Sorry.
That was instant
go ahead.
karma.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just being goofy.
I read Little Women when I was young, very young. It was like one of the first chapter books that I read. And I reread that book so many damn times that it was, the copy that we had was just like, the cover was gone. Chunks of the inside of the pages were just falling out. I loved this book. And so when
attracted you to this book? I want to start there. I don't want you to skip forward. I want you to bring me into this. I want to understand it. I so want to understand
this journey. Good Lord. Why are you so judgy? I was not judgy about your choices.
No. It's just because I don't understand. I want to understand.
Dad, you can
I apologize. I don't want to judge.
It.
I don't want to judge.
Okay. We can work on that. I loved this book so much because it's a story. Oh, fuck off. For our listeners, for our audio only audience.
What? Huh?
He just flipped me off.
Did I? Is that what you experienced?
Bitch. Now he's gaslighting me. Help.
Okay, help.
It was a book.
No, I do actually. It was a book. For all of our listeners, I do actually want to understand the like how I have never enjoyed Little Women. So I would love
Okay.
to understand, because it's clearly important to you. Like, give me all the ways that this has
When
been
you-
impactful for you.
When you say never, you read the book but you haven't seen the movie, or you've seen the movie?
I've not seen the movie. I read the book when
Okay.
I had to.
I understand that you wouldn't feel passionate about it from the book then. That's my point. I think the movie's way better than the
Okay.
book. But I reread the book so many times because it's just a book about 4 sisters living their lives. But the human moments, like the way that they're written, I'm a girl with a lot of siblings, and the way that they write the sibling interactions, I was just like, yep, this is so accurate. This is exactly what it's like, because it's like I want to kill my sister right now, but I still love her.
But I love her so much.
But I want to rip her hair out. Like, but I love her. But
Okay.
it shows this like growth of the characters also, and I could see different parts of myself in each of the 4 sisters, which was interesting because I feel like usually I find one character that I'm like, she's me, and that's me. But it was interesting for me to see, and even the mother in Little Women, I was like, I kind of related to. So it was like a character study of all of the characters in the book.
Yeah, cool.
That at different points I could see myself in as like a young, weird homeschooled girl.
I think I love that. That's a great way of describing it. And now I'm in. I'm like, that's
right?
cool. Like,
and the movie, I think, does a really good job of. I mean, I think Greta Gerwig, everything that she touches becomes gold. She is Midas to me personally.
So this is Barbie lady, right?
Yes.
Didn't she do Barbie?
She did do Barbie.
Okay, what else has she done?
Oh my gosh, my cat just sneezed.
What was that? It was like, that's a full human sound.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I heard that.
I've never heard him make that sound before. That was so weird.
That was a human sneeze of some kind.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, she did.
So if you go from Little Women to Barbie, like let's not typecast her. What else has Greta done?
Well, that's kind of her typecast, though. Is like
okay, cool,
women movies, which right. I think, though she does
not
it very well.
Not my job to typecast her,
but she that's kind of. But she does them. Cool. I think so well. Like she does a good job of doing the Yay Women movies without, like, what am I trying to say? Deifying women?
Yeah,
like,
without being cloying and stupid.
You have a vagina and it's beautiful. You know that John Mulaney bit?
Yeah.
You have a vagina and it's beautiful. You know, like that.
Yeah.
I can't stand.
Who's that?
But it's John Mulaney.
Oh, I'm also thinking a little bit of Mae Martin.
Oh, 2 really good comedians. Look them up.
Yeah.
Look it up. But with Little Women, I think the way that she does it is she takes the timeline and she fucks with it. So you get flashbacks and flash forwards. So you get like, here's what's happening in present day, and then they flash back to like their childhoods. And like the way that the lighting is different.
Right.
Same actresses, by the way, for the sisters for both timelines, but the way that they act when they're in the present day versus when they're supposed to be like 12, they're so good. It's Florence Pugh is in it. Emma Watson, who played Hermione in Harry Potter, is in it.
There's like a bunch
they're
of stars.
Timothy Chalamet is in it.
Yeah, well, like, he's kind of...
No, he's a star. He Wonka'd.
I know he Wonka'd, and that's kind of like a Wonka. Like,
no, he Wonka'd. Wonka. He's Duned twice now.
Yeah, and no one wants to see that second one.
No, well, Zendaya is in it also, so.
Well, she's great.
She's so pretty.
Okay, we're not talking about movies right now. I want to talk about one last thing. I want to talk about one last thing. I love how you represented Little Women,
Women.
and brought that. I mean, it's a classic story, and you shared how it's represented in the actual book, and then in the movie with Greta. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I now want to watch that movie.
Yeah, you should, but watch it with me though.
Yeah, I got a couple that I got to watch with you. They're
Yes.
they're Greta movies, apparently.
Oh yeah, I forgot you still haven't seen Barbie.
Yeah, we got to do that. I want to bring up one more thing. It's
Okay.
very much a man story, a man book.
Okay.
It's the King Killer Chronicles. It's Patrick Rothfuss, who has written this incredible story that I, again, to the point of like, what books do you read over and over and over again? I will read The Name of the Wind every 2 or 3 years because I think it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And there are 2 books in the series, officially in the series right now, of a trilogy. And this...
so this is ongoing. This
motherfucker started writing these books in 2010. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now.
And he hasn't put out the third one yet?
Patrick
Rothfuss.
What the fuck are you doing? Name of the Wind
Get writing, bitch.
2007. Okay?
I was 7.
So 2007, the second book, The Wise Man's Fear, was 2011.
Okay, so he was kind of clipping.
Yeah, that was
fine. Third book is still not out. Dude, the third book is still not out. No third book.
No soup for you, bitches. Nothing.
He's like he's like the guy that's writing the Game of Thrones books. What's that guy's name?
He kind of is, and I'm going to show you a picture of him. And yeah, he is kind of
my fucking God.
Yeah.
Everybody look this guy up right now. He looks hilarious.
Patrick...
Why is he not publishing the third one?
He's published little side stories about side characters, little tiny stories. He's so afraid of finishing the story.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to be done with it.
It drives me nuts. But the story itself is so epic and beautiful. Just bring us home, bro. So, can I read you? I want to read you.
Yes.
This is the thing that I love.
What sold you on it?
This is the beginning. I've got to figure it out. Look it up.
The beginning, like the very beginning of the
first part of the first story.
Okay, cool. You getting there? Or?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay,
eventually.
I'll fill the silence. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'll fill the silence. So
ready?
What's up with airplane food? Okay, yeah, you go.
They don't serve it anymore. That's what's up with it. All right. So this is the prologue of The Name of the Wind from Patrick Rothfuss. And fucking finish the story, dude. Anyway. A silence of 3 parts.
Okay.
It was night again. The Waystone Inn lay in silence, and it was a silence of 3 parts. The most obvious part was a hollow, echoing quiet, made by things that were lacking. If there had been a wind, it would have sighed through the trees, set the inn sign creaking on its hooks, and brushed the silence down the road like trailing autumn leaves. If there had been a crowd, even a handful of men inside the inn, they would have filled the silence with conversation and laughter, the clatter and clamor one expects from a drinking house during the dark hours of night. If there had been music, but no, of course there was no music. In fact, there were none of these things, and so the silence remained. Inside the Waystone, a pair of men huddled at one corner of the bar. They drank with quiet determination, avoiding serious discussions of troubling news. In doing this, they added a small, sullen silence to the larger hollow one. It made an alloy of sorts, a counterpart. The third silence was not an easy thing to notice. If you listened for an hour, you might begin to feel it in the wooden floor underfoot and in the rough splintering barrels behind the bar. It was in the weight of the black stone hearth that held the heat of a long-dead fire. It was in the slow back and forth of a white linen cloth rubbing along the grain of the bar. And it was in the hands of the man who stood there polishing a stretch of mahogany that already gleamed in the lamplight. The man had true red hair, red as flame. His eyes were dark and distant, and he moved with the subtle certainty that comes from knowing many things. The Waystone was his, just as the third silence was his. This was appropriate, as it was the greatest silence of the three, wrapping the others inside itself. It was the deep and wide as autumn's ending. It was heavy as a great river-smooth stone. It was the patient cut flower sound of a man who is waiting to die.
Holy shit.
That's the opening of the fucking story.
I might need to read this one too. Shit, dude.
He just like set this whole thing up and was like putting the whole thing in your head, like, oh yeah, it's just like, and then wham! Oh shit!
Waiting to
Something
die.
real's happening.
But now I'm like desperate to read the next piece. Like,
Well, go read it then.
Holy shit! Okay, I might need to.
So that's
oh my goodness,
the name of the
that's
wind.
Beautiful,
Patrick Rothfuss. That I think that's one of the most gorgeous openings of a novel I've ever read, and I didn't do it justice, obviously.
I think you did. Everybody read that and then tweet Patrick Rothfuss and tell him to get his ass in the typing chair.
They've been doing that since 2013, and he's just been like, bitch, I'm making money. I don't care.
Bro, finish your damn series.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He even has a name for the last book.
He knows the name, but he doesn't know how it's going to end. Wow. Okay, King.
Anyway. We are
far over our
long in the
allotted
tooth.
time. Long in the tooth. Maybe just you. Gotcha, bitch.
Well, I'm old.
Boom roasted.
Thanks. At least we only lost 6 minutes.
I was shocked. There were a couple of points where
I know, it got shaky, didn't it?
Your audio froze and your video froze, and I got very nervous.
Same.
Oh, look, Basil wants to podcast.
Hey, boy.
Everybody say hi to Basil and tell him happy second birthday.
Hi, Basil. Happy birthday.
Happy second birthday. Look how shiny he is.
He's gorgeous.
Okay.
He's like a river otter cat.
He is. Good boy.
Hi, Basil.
He's just all
right.
in the video.
We're going to wrap it up. This is going to be the end of episode 6 of The Shallow End.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you'd like to give to our loyal, like the 12 or 15 loyal listeners we have?
What you mean, just for next? What would I like to say in general?
To say, what would you like to say? Like, how do you want to wrap it up?
Well, we have to decide what we're going to talk about next time.
Oh, shit.
See?
Go ahead. Go.
Let me pull up my list. Hang on. Oh, 1 second. You talk while I look.
I did figure out with my conversation with our good friend Matt Baxter.
Oh, our bestie?
When he comes on, There will be no topic.
Oh, he just wants to bullshit?
We're just going to shoot the shit.
I don't know
And
how I feel about that.
It might be a 3-hour episode.
I don't think anybody's going to want to listen to that.
I don't care. It'll be
I'll be
fun
honest.
as hell.
Okay, maybe we'll do that eventually.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, I was looking at our Solved That special, which made me excited. But also,
I'm
we
not
got
ready for
some-
that.
yeah, I changed my mind pretty quickly. We got some feedback on our list of topics over St. Patrick's Day weekend. And there were a couple of them that our person giving us feedback, who shall not be named due to confidentiality.
Privacy, all the contracts, everything, yeah.
He starred a couple of things. So I'll read to you the things that he starred and you choose from those, okay?
Okay.
Conspiracy theories, musicals, zombie apocalypse.
We're definitely doing conspiracy theories next.
Yeah?
No, it's already that. It's definitely that. It's definitely conspiracy theories.
Okay, we'll do conspiracy theories.
This is going to be so fun.
Are we doing general discussion of them or the specific ones that we ourselves believe in?
It's not about what we believe in. No one believes in conspiracy theories. It's just whatever you're lit about right now.
There's an ongoing conspiracy theory that Kate Middleton is dead. And
there you go.
There you go. We can dive into that.
You get to bring that. I get to bring who really took down the bridge in Baltimore. We're going to have fun. It's going to be a good time. Let's do conspiracy theories.
So, tune in next time. I won't say next week because who knows if it'll be in a week.
When it'll be.
Who knows? But tune in next time for conspiracy theories when we will talk more bullshit.
Yeah.
Based on no information or knowledge.
Because that's what the shallow end is.
That's what the shallow end.
Oh.
Holy shit. That was so loud. Oh. Stop. That hurt. Yeah. I feel complete. Do you feel complete?
Do I?
Now I'm wet.
What?
Stop it. Somebody take these buttons away from me. This is horrible. All right. Thank you, Shallow Friends, for joining us.
I feel like we've done enough. Yes.
We've done more than enough.
We'll be back when we're back.
When we're back. Keep an eye out. Also, we love you.
Peace out.
Okay, bye.
Bye.